Close your eyes, imagine you're dreaming. What do you see? Shapes, colors, faces? Now what if you were born blind? Would you still see anything in your dreams? Or would your dreams be something entirely different? Something most of us could never even imagine. Dreams are one of the most mysterious experiences of the human mind. They reflect our thoughts, memories, and daily lives. But what happens when a person has never seen the world at all? Most of us take it for granted that dreams are visual. We see people, places, and things, even if they're distorted or surreal. But for those born blind, the experience is completely different. Instead of images, their dreams are built from sounds, touch, smell, and even emotions. But does that mean they miss out on the rich, immersive world of dreaming? Or could it be that their dreams are even more intense in ways we can't comprehend? Today we're diving into the fascinating world of blind dreams, how they work, what science says about them, and what they reveal about the power of the human brain. How do dreams work? Dreams are one of the most mysterious aspects of human consciousness. They feel vivid, emotional, and sometimes even real, yet they occur entirely within our minds while we sleep. But how exactly do dreams form, and what happens in the brain during this process? Scientists have studied dreaming for decades, and while there are still many unanswered questions, we do have some key insights into how dreams work. REM sleep, the dreaming stage. Dreaming primarily occurs during a unique phase of sleep known as rapid eye movement, REM sleep. This stage gets its name from the quick, jerky movements of the eyes beneath the eyelids, which are a defining characteristic of REM sleep. It is during this phase that brain activity becomes highly dynamic, almost as if the person were awake, leading to the vivid, immersive dreams we often remember. How REM sleep works. Sleep is divided into several stages, cycling repeatedly throughout the night. It begins with non-REM sleep, which consists of 3 progressively deeper stages. The body relaxes, breathing slows, and brain waves become synchronized. However, after about 90 minutes, the brain shifts into REM sleep, where everything changes. Brain activity spikes, heart rate and breathing become irregular, and the body enters a state of temporary paralysis, known as atonia, to prevent us from physically acting out our dreams. Why REM sleep is crucial for dreaming. During REM sleep, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic and decision-making, becomes less active. Meanwhile, the amygdala and limbic system, which control emotions, become highly active. This explains why dreams often feel strange, illogical, or emotionally intense. Since the brain isn't filtering experiences the way it does when we're awake, dreams can blend memories, fears, desires, and imagination into unpredictable and sometimes surreal narratives. The link between REM sleep and memory processing. Scientists believe REM sleep plays a crucial role in memory consolidation, the process of sorting and storing information gathered throughout the day. Some studies suggest that dreams may be the brain's way of making sense of new knowledge by integrating it with past experiences. This could explain why people often dream about recent events, emotions, or problems they have been thinking about. How blind people experience REM sleep. Interestingly, research shows that people who are blind from birth still experience REM sleep just like sighted individuals. However, because their dreams don't include visual imagery, their brain compensates by enhancing sensations like sound, touch, taste, and smell. Their REM sleep is just as intense, but instead of seeing images, they might dream in auditory landscapes, experiencing emotions, conversations, and physical sensations in ways that feel just as real as visual dreams do for sighted individuals. How REM sleep differs from other sleep stages. Unlike the deep, slow-wave sleep phases that come before REM, which focus more on physical restoration, REM sleep is focused on cognitive and emotional processing. If a person is deprived of REM sleep, they often experience REM rebound, meaning the body tries to compensate by spending more time in this stage the next time they sleep. This highlights its importance for brain function, emotional regulation, and overall mental well-being. In summary, REM sleep is the gateway to the dream world. It's a phase where the mind comes alive, weaving together memories, emotions, and imagination into stories that feel vivid and real. Understanding REM sleep helps us unlock the mystery of why we dream and how dreams shape our perceptions, even for those who have never experienced sight. How the brain creates dreams. Dreams may seem like random, bizarre stories playing in our minds, but they are actually the result of complex neurological processes happening deep within the brain. While scientists are still uncovering the full mystery of dreaming, we know that dreams are constructed through the intricate interactions of different brain regions, each contributing to the formation of dream experiences. The role of the brain in dream formation. Dreams are primarily shaped by the cerebral cortex, the outer layer of the brain responsible for higher thinking, and the limbic system, which governs emotions and memory. During sleep, especially REM sleep, certain areas of the brain become hyperactive while others slow down, creating a unique mental state where logic is reduced, emotions are amplified, and sensory experiences feel real. Several key brain structures play an important role in constructing dreams. The amygdala. This almond-shaped structure in the limbic system processes emotions such as fear, excitement, and pleasure. It's the reason why many dreams are emotionally intense and often include anxiety-inducing or thrilling experiences. The hippocampus. This area is responsible for memory processing and retrieval. During sleep, it helps integrate past experiences into dreams, which is why dreams often contain fragments of real memories mixed with imagined scenarios. The prefrontal cortex. This part of the brain controls logical thinking and decision-making, but it is significantly less active during REM sleep. That's why dreams can seem illogical, bizarre, and free-flowing without the structured reasoning we use when awake. The thalamus. This structure acts as a relay center for sensory information. In wakefulness, it processes external stimuli like sights, sounds, and touch. During REM sleep, it continues sending signals, but instead of processing real-world input, it recreates sensory experiences within the mind, shaping the dream world. How the brain generates dream imagery and sensations. For sighted individuals, the visual cortex in the occipital lobe is highly active during dreaming, producing vivid imagery and complex visual scenes. However, for those who are blind from birth, the brain adapts by enhancing other senses, such as hearing, touch, smell, and taste, to construct dream experiences. Their dreams are just as immersive, but instead of visual scenes, they consist of sounds, textures, and spatial awareness, often influenced by real-world experiences. For example, someone who is blind might dream of voices, familiar sounds like footsteps or rain, the sensation of warmth from the sun, or the feeling of walking through a crowded space. The brain constructs these sensations using the same neural networks that create visual dreams for sighted individuals. The connection between memories and dreams. One of the brain's most fascinating abilities is its integration of past memories into dreams. The hippocampus and neocortex work together to retrieve fragments of past experiences and reassemble them into dream narratives. These memories can be from recent experiences or even distant past events that resurface unexpectedly. However, dreams don't just replay memories exactly as they happened. Instead, the brain remixes them, combining multiple experiences, emotions, and subconscious thoughts into new and often surreal scenarios. This is why you might dream about a familiar place but with altered details, or a conversation with a person who says something unexpected. Why dreams feel so real? Even though we know dreams are not real, they often feel incredibly lifelike while we are experiencing them. This is due to heightened brain activity in sensory and emotional regions, which mimics the way the brain processes reality when awake. Additionally, the brainstem plays a role by paralyzing most muscles during REM sleep, preventing us from physically acting out our dreams, though in some cases, small twitches or sleep talking can occur. For people who are blind, the dream realism comes from heightened sensory details, the crispness of a sound, the feel of an object, or even the emotional tone of a conversation. These dreams are shaped by their everyday experiences, proving that the brain can create rich, immersive dream worlds without relying on sight. Do dreams have meaning? Because dreams are built from emotions, memories, and subconscious thoughts, many people believe they carry hidden meanings or insights into our minds. While some psychologists suggest that dreams are simply the brain's way of organizing information and problem solving, others argue that they reflect deep-seated fears, desires, and emotions that we might not consciously acknowledge while awake. For individuals who have never seen the world visually, dreams provide a window into a different kind of mental experience, one that relies entirely on their unique perception of reality. Through the brain's ability to construct vivid, multisensory experiences, dreaming remains a powerful and essential part of the human experience, regardless of whether a person has ever seen the world with their eyes. The role of emotions in dreaming. Dreams are not just random sequences of thoughts and images. They are often filled with intense emotions that make them feel incredibly real. Whether it's the fear from a nightmare, the joy of reuniting with a loved one, or the sadness of an unsettling dream, emotions play a central role in shaping our dream experiences. But why do dreams feel so emotionally charged? The answer lies in how the brain processes emotions during sleep and the connections between dreams, memory, and our subconscious mind. The brain's emotional center takes control. One of the most important brain structures involved in dreaming is the amygdala, which is responsible for processing emotions such as fear, happiness, and excitement. During REM sleep, the phase when most vivid dreams occur, the amygdala becomes highly active, sometimes even more so than when we're awake. This heightened activity explains why dreams often feel emotionally intense, even if they don't always make logical sense. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logical thinking and decision-making, is less active during REM sleep. This imbalance means that while emotions in dreams can be strong, the usual rational filters that control our reactions in real life are weakened. This is why bizarre or unrealistic dream scenarios might not seem strange while we're dreaming, but appear absurd once we wake up. How different emotions shape dreams. Fear and anxiety. Why do we have nightmares? Fear-based dreams, or nightmares, are among the most memorable and emotionally powerful dreams people experience. They often reflect stress, unresolved fears, or deep-seated anxieties. Scientists believe nightmares serve an important psychological function, helping us process difficult emotions and practice responses to threatening situations in a safe environment. For example, someone experiencing high levels of stress might dream about being chased, trapped, or falling from a great height. These scenarios aren't necessarily literal, but represent the mind's way of symbolizing and processing fear. Happiness and comfort, the power of positive dreams. Just as fear can dominate some dreams, happiness and joy can shape others. Many people have experienced dreams where they reunite with a lost loved one, achieve a long-held goal, or relive a cherished memory. These dreams can provide comfort and reinforce positive emotions even after waking up. Studies suggest that positive dreams can help boost mood, increase emotional resilience, and even enhance problem-solving skills. They remind us of our desires, motivations, and things that bring us fulfillment in life. Sadness and loss, emotional healing. Dreams often help process grief and loss. People who have lost someone close to them sometimes dream about their loved one, either reliving past experiences or encountering them in new dream scenarios. These dreams can be bittersweet, bringing both comfort and sadness. But many psychologists believe they play an essential role in the grieving process. Dreaming about loss allows the brain to work through deep emotions in a controlled way, gradually helping the person come to terms with their feelings over time. Anger and conflict. Dreams as an emotional outlet. Ever had a dream where you argued with someone or felt an intense burst of anger? Dreams can serve as an emotional outlet for unresolved conflicts or frustrations from daily life. These dreams might not involve real-life situations directly, but can represent subconscious struggles, inner conflicts, or suppressed emotions. Interestingly, research has found that people who experience frequent dreams involving conflict or confrontation might be processing strong emotions that they haven't fully dealt with in waking life. The connection between dreams and emotional memory. Dreaming plays a critical role in emotional memory processing. When we experience something emotionally significant during the day, whether good or bad, the brain often revisits and reorganizes that information during sleep. This is why dreams frequently contain fragments of real-life experiences, but in altered or symbolic forms. The hippocampus, which is responsible for memory storage, works alongside the amygdala to sort through emotional experiences and integrate them into our long-term memory. In some cases, the brain uses dreams to help us process traumatic or highly emotional events. This is why people who go through major life changes, stress, or trauma often experience more vivid and emotionally charged dreams. Dreams without sight. How emotions manifest for the blind. For people who are blind from birth, dreams are just as emotional as those of sighted individuals. But instead of being dominated by visual imagery, they are shaped by sound, touch, and other sensory experiences. A person who is blind might dream about the warmth of a loved one's hug, the tone of someone's voice, or the feeling of walking through an unfamiliar space. The emotional content of these dreams is still powerful, even without visual elements. Research has shown that blind individuals often experience heightened emotional intensity in their dreams, possibly because their other senses are more developed in waking life. This suggests that dreams are not dependent on vision, but are deeply tied to emotions and personal experiences, regardless of how those experiences are perceived. Why emotional dreams matter. Dreams are more than just random stories. They are a way for the brain to process emotions, sort memories, and prepare for future challenges. While some dreams may feel strange or disconnected from reality, they still serve an important purpose in helping us understand our feelings and experiences on a deeper level. By exploring the emotional nature of dreams, scientists continue to uncover how the mind works during sleep and why dreaming remains one of the most mysterious yet essential functions of the human brain. Memory processing and dreams. Dreams aren't just random events. They play a crucial role in how our brain processes, organizes, and stores memories. While we sleep, the brain isn't resting. It's actively sorting through everything we've experienced throughout the day, deciding what to keep and what to discard. This process is essential for learning, problem solving, and emotional regulation. How does the brain process memories during sleep? Memory formation involves multiple stages, and sleep plays a key role in strengthening and organizing those memories. Here's how it works. Encoding. When you experience something new, your brain takes in information and temporarily stores it. Consolidation. During sleep, important information is strengthened and transferred to long-term memory. Retrieval. When needed, the brain recalls and reconstructs stored memories. Dreaming occurs primarily during REM sleep, the stage where brain activity is similar to when we're awake. Studies suggest that during REM sleep, the hippocampus and neocortex work together to process memories, making connections between new experiences and older knowledge. This is why dreams often contain fragments of real-life events, but in strange, altered, or symbolic ways. Our brain is actively organizing and integrating information while we sleep. Why do we dream about past events? Have you ever dreamed about something that happened earlier in the day? This is called the day residue effect, where recent experiences appear in dreams because the brain is actively processing them. But sometimes we also dream about distant memories, even from childhood. Scientists believe this happens because sleep helps strengthen neural pathways, revisiting old memories to reinforce connections. Interestingly, people learning new skills or studying for exams tend to dream about the material they're working on, suggesting that dreaming helps with memory reinforcement and learning. The link between dreams and problem solving. Dreams do more than just organize memories. They also help with problem solving and creativity. The brain doesn't just replay past experiences, it reworks them, creating new associations and insights. Many famous discoveries and artistic breakthroughs have come from dreams. Dmitri Mendeleev dreamed of the periodic table structure. Mary Shelley was inspired by a dream to write Frankenstein. Elias Howe came up with the design of the sewing machine in a dream. Dreams allow the brain to test out different scenarios, helping us come up with creative solutions we might not have considered while awake. Emotional memory and dreams. One of the most critical roles of dreaming is processing emotional experiences. The brain helps us deal with stress, trauma, and intense emotions by replaying them in a dream state. This is why people who experience trauma often have recurring dreams or nightmares related to their experiences. On the positive side, pleasant memories can also be reinforced, contributing to a sense of well-being and emotional balance. The amygdala, the brain's emotional processing center, is highly active during REM sleep, suggesting that dreams help us work through emotional challenges in a safe, controlled environment. How do memory-related dreams differ for the blind? For people who are blind from birth, dreams still play an essential role in memory consolidation. But instead of visual imagery, they rely on sounds, textures, emotions, and spatial awareness. A blind person might dream of a conversation they had, the feeling of a place they visited, or the rhythm of a song they heard. Studies suggest that blind individuals may have stronger memory processing in non-visual sensory areas, reinforcing their ability to navigate the world through touch, hearing, and other senses. This shows that dreaming is not just about vision, it's about how the brain organizes and interprets experiences, regardless of how they are perceived. Why memory processing in dreams matters. Dreams are not just random nonsense. They are the brain's way of making sense of the world. By strengthening memories, enhancing learning, and helping us process emotions, dreaming plays a crucial role in both mental and emotional well-being. So the next time you wake up from a strange dream, remember, it might just be your brain's way of helping you learn, grow, and adapt to life's challenges. Why some dreams feel more real than others. Have you ever woken up from a dream so vivid and intense that it felt like you were actually living in it? Some dreams seem to blur the line between reality and imagination, leaving us emotionally shaken, deeply moved, or even questioning whether it really happened. But why do some dreams feel more real than others? The answer lies in brain activity, emotions, and how our minds process sensory experiences during sleep. The role of the brain in vivid dreams. During REM sleep, the stage where most dreams occur, our brain is extremely active, almost as if we're awake. However, different parts of the brain are involved in different ways. The visual cortex. Although our eyes are closed, this area remains active, creating dream imagery that can feel just as real as waking life. The limbic system. This part of the brain, which controls emotions, becomes highly active, making dreams feel intensely emotional or meaningful. The prefrontal cortex. This area, responsible for logic and critical thinking, is much less active during REM sleep. That's why bizarre or unrealistic dreams don't seem strange until we wake up. The combination of high emotional engagement and a lack of rational judgment is what makes certain dreams feel incredibly immersive and realistic. Why do some dreams have more detail? Not all dreams are created equal. Some are fragmented and forgettable, while others feel rich, detailed, and cinematic. The level of realism in dreams depends on several factors. Memory activation. The more recent and vivid an experience, the more likely it is to appear in your dreams in detail. This is why we often dream about events that happened earlier in the day. Sensory engagement. Dreams that involve multiple senses, sight, sound, touch, smell, tend to feel more immersive. For example, you might feel the warmth of the sun, hear people talking, or even smell food in a dream. Strong emotions. The more emotionally intense an event is, the more likely the brain is to recreate it in a highly realistic way. This is why nightmares and stress-related dreams often feel so real. Lucid dreaming. In some cases, people become aware that they are dreaming while still in the dream. This state, called lucid dreaming, allows the dreamer to interact with the dream world consciously, making the experience hyper-realistic. Why do some dreams feel like real-life experiences? Certain dreams feel just as real as waking experiences, especially when they involve deep emotional connections, familiar places, or past memories. This happens because the brain doesn't distinguish between real and imagined experiences in REM sleep. The same neural pathways that activate when we experience something in real life also fire up when we dream about it. Dreams mimic real-life problem solving. The brain often replays real situations or concerns, simulating different outcomes as a way of processing emotions and decisions. Recurring dreams or nightmares feel more real because they create a sense of familiarity. The more often a scenario appears in dreams, the more it feels like something we have genuinely experienced. Why do some dreams stick with us for years? Have you ever had a dream from childhood that you still remember vividly? Some dreams remain etched in our memory because they trigger intense emotions, such as fear, joy, or nostalgia. They contain powerful sensory details that make them feel like actual memories. They involve unresolved issues, prompting the brain to revisit them over time. Dreams that feel real often stay with us because they have psychological significance, helping us process thoughts, fears, or desires in a way that waking life doesn't always allow. How realistic are dreams for the blind? For people who are born blind, dreams are still deeply immersive, but they are built from sound, touch, movement, and emotions rather than sight. Their brain processes memories and experiences in dreams using non-visual sensory information, making their dreams just as real and vivid, just in a different way. They may dream about familiar voices, the feeling of walking through a specific place, or the sensation of warmth and cold. Instead of visual details, dreams rely on spatial awareness, sounds, and even smell. Studies suggest that blind individuals have heightened non-visual sensory experiences in their dreams, which can make them even more realistic than sighted people's dreams. Why does it matter? Understanding why some dreams feel more real than others gives us insight into how our brain processes reality, memory, and emotions. Whether sighted or blind, our brains have an incredible ability to create entire worlds in our sleep, making dreams one of the most fascinating and mysterious aspects of human experience. Do blind people dream in pictures? Dreams are a fascinating reflection of how our brains process experiences, emotions, and memories. But what happens when someone has never had visual experiences? Do blind people see images in their dreams, or do their dreams take on a completely different form? This section explores how blind individuals experience dreams and whether images play a role in their dream world. The difference between congenital and acquired blindness. One of the biggest factors that determine how a blind person dreams is whether they were born blind, congenital blindness, or lost their sight later in life, acquired blindness. This distinction plays a crucial role in shaping their dream experiences, especially when it comes to visual imagery. Congenital blindness, a world without visual memory. People who are born blind have never experienced sight, so their brains don't have a stored database of images to pull from when dreaming. Instead, their dreams are rich in other sensory experiences: touch, sound, taste, smell, and even spatial awareness. For example, a person born blind might dream of voices surrounding them, the feeling of the wind against their skin, or the scent of a freshly cooked meal. These sensations help them construct a vivid and immersive dream world, even without visual elements. Acquired blindness, fading or retained visual dreams. For those who lose their sight later in life, dreams can still contain visual elements, at least for a while. Studies show that individuals who become blind after birth often continue to experience visual dreams for years, sometimes even decades. However, over time, the frequency of visual imagery tends to fade, and non-visual sensory elements take a more dominant role. The age at which someone loses their sight also plays a role. If a person loses their vision at a very young age, their brain adapts more quickly, and their dreams become more like those of someone who was born blind. If blindness occurs later in life, the brain holds onto visual memories much longer, allowing them to see in their dreams for extended periods. The brain's adaptability, neuroplasticity in dreaming. The human brain is remarkably adaptable, a concept known as neuroplasticity. When a sense like vision is lost, the brain compensates by enhancing other senses. This is why many blind individuals have heightened hearing, touch sensitivity, and even a more refined sense of smell. The same process occurs in their dreams, where sight is absent. The brain fills in the gaps with intensified non-visual sensations, making their dreams just as rich and immersive as those of sighted people. Ultimately, whether blind from birth or later in life, dreaming remains an essential part of human experience. The only difference is the way in which the brain constructs those dreams, proving that our minds are capable of creating entire worlds, even without sight. How the brain adapts to non-visual dreaming. When vision is lost, whether from birth or later in life, the brain doesn't simply stop creating dreams, it adapts. This ability to rewire itself and compensate for the absence of sight is a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity, and it plays a crucial role in how blind individuals experience dreams. The sensory shift, replacing sight with other senses. For sighted people, dreams are often dominated by visual imagery. But for blind individuals, the brain amplifies other senses to construct their dream world. Instead of seeing faces, places, and colors, they might experience sound, detailed auditory environments, from voices and music to the rustling of leaves or city traffic. Touch, the sensation of textures like the roughness of tree bark or the softness of a pet's fur. Smell, strong scent memories such as fresh coffee brewing or the salty air by the ocean. Spatial awareness, a mental map of their surroundings based on movement and position rather than sight. This shift isn't just limited to dreaming. Blind individuals also develop sharper hearing and touch in daily life, which carries over into their subconscious mind during sleep. Brain regions at work. The role of the visual cortex. Interestingly, studies using fMRI scans have shown that the visual cortex, the part of the brain responsible for processing images, remains highly active in blind individuals. Instead of interpreting light and color, it processes information from touch and sound, helping them navigate their dreams in a completely different way. This suggests that the brain doesn't need images to create immersive dream experiences. It simply rewires its pathways to rely on other sensory data. Dreaming in conceptual forms, beyond the five senses. Some blind individuals report dreaming in a more abstract or conceptual way. Instead of seeing a dog, for example, they may experience the essence of a dog, its warmth, the feel of its fur, the sound of its breathing. This suggests that dreams for blind people might not be limited to sensory input alone, but could involve a deeper, more symbolic form of understanding. Ultimately, the brain's ability to adapt to non-visual dreaming proves just how flexible and creative the human mind can be. Even without sight, dreams remain vivid, meaningful, and deeply personal, shaped by the rich sensory experiences of the waking world. Do people born blind see in dreams? A common question is whether individuals born blind can see anything in their dreams. The simple answer is no. Because they have never experienced sight, their brains do not create visual images the way sighted people's dreams do. However, that doesn't mean their dreams are any less vivid or immersive. Instead of visual imagery, dreams for those born blind are composed of sound, touch, smell, taste, and emotion. How the brain fills in the gaps. Since the brain of a blind person has never received visual input, it develops in a way that prioritizes other senses. Research shows that their auditory cortex and somatosensory cortex, responsible for touch, are more developed and active, even in dreams. Instead of seeing a person, they may recognize someone in a dream by their voice, the feel of their handshake, or even their scent. Experiencing space and movement in dreams. Despite lacking visual imagery, blind individuals still dream about moving through spaces. They might feel themselves walking down a hallway, touching the walls to navigate, or sensing a breeze on their skin. The brain constructs dream environments based on real-world experiences, using sound and touch to define shapes, distances, and objects. Conceptual and emotional dreaming. Blind people's dreams often emphasize emotions and abstract concepts more than sighted people's dreams do. Instead of seeing a threatening figure, they may feel a looming presence. Instead of watching a beautiful sunset, they may experience a deep sense of peace, warmth, and the sound of birds as day fades into night. Differences between congenitally blind and late blind individuals. Born blind, they do not see in their dreams, but instead experience heightened auditory, tactile, and olfactory, smell, sensations. Their dreams are just as complex and emotionally rich, but without visual elements. Became blind later in life, they may still dream in images for a while after losing sight, but over time, their dreams transition to rely more on non-visual senses as the brain adapts. While those born blind may never see in their dreams, their minds still create fully immersive dream worlds, just in ways that sighted people might struggle to imagine. Dream content in blind individuals. Dreams of blind individuals are just as vivid and complex as those of sighted people, but they are shaped by different sensory inputs. Since vision is not a factor for those born blind, their dreamscapes are built around sounds, touch, smell, taste, and emotions. Sensory-rich dream sound. Voices, music, environmental noises, and even subtle auditory details play a dominant role in blind individuals' dreams. They might dream of conversations, the sound of footsteps, or the rustling of leaves in the wind. Touch, textures, temperatures, and physical sensations are crucial. A dream might include the feeling of rain on the skin, the softness of a pet's fur, or the sensation of walking on rough terrain. Smell and taste. Since these senses are often heightened in blind individuals, they appear more frequently in dreams. A dream could revolve around the scent of fresh bread, the taste of a favorite dish, or the aroma of a loved one's perfume. Emotions, feelings of joy, fear, love, or stress are deeply present in dreams, sometimes even more intensely than in sighted individuals' dreams. Common themes in dreams of blind individuals. Daily experiences. Like sighted people, blind individuals often dream about familiar places, people, and routines. Navigational dreams. Many report dreaming of moving through spaces using touch, sound, and memory to guide them. Social interactions. Conversations, laughter, and even arguments appear frequently, with voice recognition playing a key role. Heightened awareness. Since their senses are more attuned to details, their dreams often involve deep sensory experiences, like feeling the texture of an object they've never touched before. Abstract and conceptual dreams. Some blind individuals report dreams based on thoughts and emotions rather than sensory details, such as feeling a sense of floating or experiencing an abstract idea rather than a physical space. While sighted individuals rely heavily on visual imagery in dreams, blind individuals experience dreams in ways that emphasize their strongest senses, creating immersive and deeply personal dream worlds. Scientific studies on blind dreams. Scientists have long been fascinated by how blind individuals experience dreams. Numerous studies have been conducted to understand the differences in dream content, sensory involvement, and neurological processes in people with congenital or acquired blindness. Brain activity during sleep. Research using EEG, electroencephalography, and fMRI, functional MRI, scans has shown that blind individuals exhibit similar REM sleep patterns to sighted individuals. This confirms that dreaming is a universal experience, even when vision is absent. Studies suggest that in blind individuals, the visual cortex does not become inactive during sleep. It instead processes information from other senses, like touch and sound, to create dream imagery. Differences between congenitally and late blind individuals. A Danish study found that individuals who lost their sight later in life still experience visual imagery in dreams, though it fades over time. After years of blindness, their dreams become more reliant on other senses. People who are blind from birth rarely report seeing images in their dreams. Instead, their dreams are dominated by auditory, tactile, olfactory, and emotional experiences. Common themes in blind individuals' dreams. A 2014 study found that blind individuals dream about social interactions, movement, and problem-solving more than sighted individuals. Many report more nightmares, often related to navigation difficulties, getting lost, or being unable to communicate, a reflection of real-world challenges they face. Sensory compensation is evident in their dreams, with heightened perceptions of sound, touch, and even temperature changes. The role of neuroplasticity in dreaming. Neuroplasticity plays a key role in how blind individuals experience dreams. The brain rewires itself to compensate for the lack of vision, strengthening connections in other sensory areas. Studies show that the occipital lobe, usually responsible for visual processing, becomes highly active in non-visual tasks for blind individuals, allowing for highly detailed sensory dreams. These studies confirm that while blind individuals dream differently, their dreams are just as complex, meaningful, and immersive as those of sighted people. Lucid dreaming and blind individuals. Lucid dreaming, the ability to become aware that you are dreaming and even control aspects of the dream, is a fascinating phenomenon. But how does it manifest in individuals who are blind? Can they influence their dream worlds as sighted people do? Research and personal accounts suggest that lucid dreaming is just as common among blind individuals, though the experience is shaped by their unique sensory perception. How do blind individuals experience lucid dreams? Many blind individuals report becoming aware that they are dreaming, just like sighted people. However, their lucid dreams are often dominated by sound, touch, and movement rather than visual elements. Some who became blind later in life describe moments of visual clarity in lucid dreams, even if they no longer experience visual imagery in regular dreams. People born blind typically navigate their lucid dreams using enhanced auditory, tactile, and spatial awareness rather than visual guidance. Can blind individuals control their dreams? Just like sighted lucid dreamers, blind individuals can learn to manipulate aspects of their dreams. Some report controlling the environment by altering sounds, textures, or even shaping their surroundings through touch. Changing dream narratives, such as turning nightmares into positive experiences. Experimenting with dream movement, such as running, jumping, or even flying, guided by sound and touch rather than sight. Scientific research on blind lucid dreamers. Studies on blind lucid dreamers are limited, but personal accounts and anecdotal reports suggest that blind individuals experience lucid dreams at similar rates as sighted people. Some research indicates that blind lucid dreamers rely more on kinesthetic, movement-based, and auditory cues, making their dream experiences highly immersive and sensory-rich. The brain's neuroplasticity allows blind individuals to process non-visual sensory input in ways that replace visual dreaming, making lucid dreams feel just as vivid. Training lucid dreaming without visual cues. Sighted individuals often use visual reality checks to trigger lucid dreams, like noticing inconsistencies in a dream environment. Blind dreamers, however, rely on auditory reality checks, questioning whether a sound makes sense in their waking life. Tactile cues, such as feeling the texture of objects to determine whether they are real. Spatial awareness checks, testing how they move or navigate in a dream to confirm if it follows real-world physics. The unique magic of lucid dreams for the blind. Lucid dreaming allows blind individuals to explore their senses in ways that may not be possible in waking life. Some describe hearing sounds they've never heard before, feeling textures that don't exist in reality, or even experiencing entirely new forms of spatial awareness. While their dreams may not be visual, they are just as profound, limitless, and deeply personal as those of sighted dreamers. The senses in blind people's dreams. Dreaming isn't just about sight, it's a full sensory experience. For individuals who are blind, dreams engage other senses in ways that sighted people rarely experience. Instead of visual imagery, dreams for blind individuals are often rich in sound, touch, smell, and even taste. But how do these senses manifest in dreams? The dominance of sound in dreams. For blind individuals, sound plays a crucial role in both waking life and dreams. Since they don't rely on sight to interpret the world, their brains are wired to process and prioritize auditory information in ways that sighted individuals might never experience. This heightened sense of hearing carries over into their dream world, creating rich and immersive soundscapes. How blind individuals navigate their dreams using sound. Without visual elements, dreams for blind individuals often feel like a highly detailed audio experience. Voices, environmental noises, and even the subtle sounds of movement take center stage. Many blind individuals describe their dreams as being filled with clear and recognizable voices, background noises, and sometimes even complex auditory illusions. For example, they may dream of walking through a city where they can hear the hustle and bustle of traffic, conversations of people nearby, or the echoes of footsteps on different surfaces. These details provide a sense of place and depth, allowing them to move through their dream world much like they would in reality, by interpreting sounds instead of sights. Enhanced auditory details, voices, music, and environmental sounds voices. Some blind individuals report that they can hear dream characters speaking with extreme clarity, often recognizing familiar voices with precision. In some cases, dream conversations feel just as real as those in waking life. Music. Studies suggest that blind individuals, especially those musically inclined, often experience dreams filled with melodies, harmonies, or even full compositions that feel entirely new. Environmental sounds. Dreams may be set in places rich in auditory cues, flowing rivers, rustling leaves, distant echoes, or even specific sounds tied to strong memories. These sounds create a vivid mental landscape that takes the place of visual imagery. Echolocation-like abilities in dreams. Some individuals born blind develop a form of echolocation in real life, using sound reflections to gauge distance and obstacles. This ability can extend into their dreams, where they sense spaces through the way sounds change around them. For example, they might be able to tell they're in a large open field because their voice echoes differently than it would in a small enclosed room. Dreaming in pure sound. There are cases where blind individuals report dreaming entirely in sound, without any physical sensations or movement. These dreams can be abstract, like floating in a world of music and disembodied voices, or they can be structured with clear narratives unfolding purely through sound. In essence, for those who are blind, dreams are not empty or lacking in experience. Instead, they are deeply immersive soundscapes, often more detailed and layered than what sighted people typically experience in their dreams. The role of touch and texture. For blind individuals, the sense of touch is a primary way of experiencing and understanding the world. In dreams, this sense becomes even more vivid, often replacing visual elements with detailed physical sensations. The textures of objects, the feeling of movement, and the perception of physical space all play a major role in shaping the dream experience. How touch becomes the primary sense in dreams. Since blind individuals rely on touch in their daily lives, using their hands, feet, and full body to interact with their environment, their dreams reflect this reality. Instead of seeing an object, they may feel its shape, temperature, weight, and texture just as vividly as if they were awake. For example, rather than seeing a chair, a blind person might recognize it in a dream by running their hands over its surface, sensing the smoothness of polished wood or the softness of a cushioned seat. Instead of seeing a person's face, they might recognize a loved one by touching their hands, feeling the texture of their skin, or identifying their unique body language. Experiencing different textures in dreams. Many blind individuals describe heightened tactile sensations in their dreams, sometimes even more detailed than what they experience in waking life. Some of the most commonly reported textures include softness, feeling the texture of blankets, fur, or gentle breezes against the skin. Roughness, the grain of wood, the uneven surface of a brick wall, or the sensation of walking barefoot on gravel. Temperature differences. Dreamers may notice warm sunlight on their skin or the chill of a cold wind passing by. Water and liquids, the sensation of swimming, rain falling on the face, or drinking a warm beverage. These tactile details help create a rich, immersive dream world where experiences are felt rather than seen. Movement and physical sensation in dreams. One of the most fascinating aspects of blind individuals' dreams is the way they experience movement and physical sensations. Many report dreams where they feel the sensation of walking, running, or even flying, experience the push and pull of gravity, such as climbing stairs or floating in space. Notice fine details like the way wind brushes against their skin or the shifting pressure of different surfaces underfoot. Unlike sighted individuals, who often perceive movement visually in dreams, blind individuals feel motion through body awareness and tactile sensations. Differences between congenitally and late blind individuals. People born blind. Their dreams are entirely tactile-based with detailed sensations of objects, people, and movement. They use their hands and body to explore their dream world, much like they do when awake. People who became blind later in life, they may still experience phantom visual sensations, but over time, their dreams become more touch-oriented, relying more on texture, pressure, and spatial awareness. Can blind individuals feel pain in dreams? Interestingly, studies suggest that blind individuals may experience pain, temperature changes, and other physical sensations in their dreams. Some report feeling the sharpness of stepping on a rock, the warmth of sunlight on their face, the sensation of holding another person's hand. This suggests that, even without vision, the brain is fully capable of recreating physical sensations in dreams, making them just as real and immersive as those of sighted individuals. Why touch matters in dreams. For blind individuals, the sense of touch replaces vision as the primary way to explore and understand the world. Even in their subconscious, their dreams are rich with texture, temperature, and movement, proving that the brain doesn't need sight to create vivid and meaningful dream experiences. Smell and taste in dream experiences. For sighted individuals, dreams are usually dominated by visual and auditory elements, while the senses of smell and taste are less prominent. However, for blind individuals, especially those born blind, smell and taste play a much stronger role in shaping their dream experiences. Since their waking world is often navigated through enhanced olfactory, smell, and gustatory taste perception, these senses become deeply integrated into their dreams. Why are smell and taste more prominent in blind dreams? The brain processes dreams using stored sensory experiences. Since blind individuals rely heavily on smell and taste in their daily lives, these sensations appear more frequently in their dreams than in those of sighted individuals. Scientific studies suggest that the olfactory bulb, responsible for processing smells, and the gustatory cortex, which processes taste, are more active in blind individuals, even while sleeping. Since vision is absent, the brain compensates by amplifying other sensory inputs, making smell and taste more vivid and detailed in dreams. Memories associated with scents and flavors are deeply emotional, meaning these elements can trigger strong dream experiences. Common sense in dreams of blind individuals. Smells in dreams are often linked to familiar people, places, and experiences. Some commonly reported dream scents include nature-based smells, fresh rain, flowers, soil, or ocean air. Food and drink. The rich aroma of coffee, the sweetness of fruit, or the warmth of baked bread. Personal sense. The familiar smell of a loved one's perfume, freshly washed clothes, or even the scent of a pet. Urban and environmental sense. Exhaust fumes, freshly cut grass, the scent of books or leather. For a blind person, identifying a dream location may come not from seeing a building, but from recognizing the scent of the air, the perfume of the people nearby, or the specific combination of smells unique to that place. The role of taste in dreaming. Taste is one of the least common senses in dreams for sighted individuals, but for blind individuals, it appears far more frequently. Since they experience the world in a multisensory way, their dreams often include eating familiar foods. A dream might involve the taste of a favorite meal, whether it's the rich spices of a dish or the refreshing coolness of ice cream. Tasting new and unknown flavors. Some blind individuals describe dreaming about flavors they have never tasted before, leading scientists to question whether the brain can create entirely new sensory experiences during sleep. Associating taste with memory and emotion. Some dreams link flavors with strong emotions, such as the comfort of a warm soup in a childhood memory, or the excitement of tasting a dessert for the first time. Emotional connection to smell and taste in dreams. Smell and taste are closely linked to memory and emotion, which explains why they are so significant in blind individuals' dreams. Studies show that smells can trigger stronger emotional reactions than visual images, making olfactory dreams deeply meaningful. For example, the scent of a parent's cooking might evoke feelings of warmth and security. The taste of a specific meal might remind someone of a special life event. The smell of rain or grass might bring a sense of peace and nostalgia. These sensory experiences make dreams not just vivid, but also deeply personal and emotionally powerful. The unique dream world of blind individuals. For those born blind, dreams are not lacking in richness or detail. They simply prioritize different senses. While sighted individuals might recall a sunset or a landscape, blind individuals remember the aroma of fresh flowers, the crisp bite of an apple, or the comforting scent of home. This proves that dreams are not purely visual experiences, but are deeply connected to how each person perceives and interacts with the world. Movement and spatial awareness in blind individuals' dreams. For blind individuals, movement and spatial awareness play a crucial role in their waking lives. Since they navigate the world using touch, hearing, and proprioception, the body's ability to sense its position in space, these same abilities carry over into their dreams. Instead of seeing landscapes or distant objects, they often experience movement, depth, and spatial relationships in a uniquely immersive way. How blind individuals experience movement in dreams. Sighted individuals often dream of walking, running, or flying, but blind individuals describe movement with a heightened sense of body awareness. Some common dream experiences include walking or running through familiar places, using sound and touch to navigate, just as in real life, feeling acceleration or free fall, dreams of floating, falling, or even flying, often without a visual reference. Using a cane or guide dog, some blind individuals report experiencing these tools in their dreams, reinforcing the deep connection between waking and dream life. Being guided by sounds instead of seeing a path, they might sense a location by how footsteps echo or how air moves around them. Blind individuals sense distances and obstacles in dreams much like they do when awake, proving that the brain reconstructs the world using more than just sight. Spatial awareness in blind dreams. Spatial awareness, the ability to understand the size, layout, and shape of an environment, plays a major role in dreams for blind individuals. Some describe dreaming of spaces they have never physically visited. Their brain constructs environments based on descriptions or imagined layouts. Feeling the walls, floors, and furniture in a room, instead of seeing a bedroom, they map it through touch. Sensing open and closed spaces, some can distinguish between a narrow hallway and an open field based on how sound and air move around them. Navigating without sight but with confidence. Many describe feeling a strong mental map of their dream environments using echolocation like cues, touch, and movement. This suggests that blind individuals build a three-dimensional mental world in dreams, just as they do in waking life. Dreaming of motion, floating, flying, and falling. Interestingly, many blind individuals report dreams of floating or flying, even if they have never experienced such sensations in real life. Some describe these experiences as weightlessness, a dream sensation of drifting effortlessly through space, falling without fear. Feeling the sensation of dropping but not being startled by it, being guided by wind, sound, or intuition. Rather than seeing where they are going, they feel movement based on non-visual cues. This suggests that the human brain constructs dreams beyond just real-world experiences, using imagination to simulate new forms of movement. The brain's ability to create dream motion without sight. Neuroscientists have found that the same brain regions responsible for movement and spatial awareness in sighted individuals are just as active in blind individuals during REM sleep. This means that the brain still constructs depth and space even without visual input, uses touch and sound as primary spatial guides in dreams, allows blind individuals to experience movement in dynamic and unexpected ways, proving that dreams are not limited by real-world perception. Why movement and spatial awareness matter in dreams. For blind individuals, movement in dreams isn't just about getting from one place to another. It's a full-body experience that reinforces their deep connection with the world around them. Whether they are walking through a familiar space, exploring a new environment, or floating freely in an undefined space, their dreams are rich, immersive, and deeply personal, proving that vision is just one piece of the vast and complex world of dreaming. Emotional and intuitive sensing in dreams. For blind individuals, Dreams are not only shaped by sound, touch, and movement, but also by strong emotions and intuitive perception. Since their waking world relies heavily on interpreting tone, intention, and atmosphere, these elements become even more pronounced in their dreams. Emotional depth, heightened awareness, and even an unexplainable sixth sense often play a central role in their dream experiences. Why emotions are stronger in blind dreams? Dreams are a reflection of how the brain processes emotions, and since blind individuals rely more on emotional and sensory cues in real life, their dreams often amplify these aspects. Some reasons for stronger emotional presence in blind dreams include greater reliance on tone and atmosphere. Without visual context, the tone of a voice, the rhythm of speech, or the intensity of a sound can set the emotional tone of a dream. A deeper connection to touch-based emotions, hugging a loved one, holding a friend's hand, or sensing warmth and closeness are powerful emotional markers in dreams. Dreams shaped by feelings rather than imagery. Instead of seeing a frightening figure, a blind person may simply feel a threatening presence or sense an overwhelming wave of fear. More vivid emotional storytelling. Since blind individuals navigate the world through emotional and sensory cues, their dreams often emphasize interactions, conversations, and atmospheres rather than visual landscapes. How intuition and sensing replace vision in dreams. Many blind individuals describe a type of intuitive sensing in their dreams, where they feel the presence of someone or something without needing to see or hear them. This is often reported in experiences such as knowing someone is in the room without hearing them move or speak, sensing danger or safety based on instinct rather than clear cues, feeling emotions from others in a dream, as if absorbing their energy, navigating dream environments by intuition rather than logic. This suggests that the brain is capable of constructing non-visual awareness, much like how some blind individuals develop a heightened sense of spatial and social perception in waking life. Emotional dreams, positive and negative themes. Blind individuals often report dreams that are intensely emotional, sometimes even more than what sighted people experience. These emotional dreams fall into two main categories. Positive emotional dreams, reuniting with loved ones. Many report dreams where they hear familiar voices or feel the presence of family members, even those who have passed away. Feeling joy and freedom, dreams of running, flying, or simply experiencing peace in a familiar setting. Deep social connections, conversations, laughter, and moments of bonding are often central to positive dreams. Negative emotional dreams, nightmares and anxiety dreams. Feeling lost or disoriented. Since blind individuals rely on structure and familiarity in waking life, dreams of being unable to navigate or feeling disoriented can be deeply unsettling. Hearing distressing sounds, instead of seeing frightening imagery, nightmares might involve threatening voices, unsettling noises, or sudden loud crashes. Emotional distress dreams. Many blind individuals experience dreams with heightened stress, sadness, or anxiety, often reflecting real-life fears or past emotional trauma. Can blind individuals sense colors or light in dreams? A fascinating question in the study of blind dreams is whether individuals born blind can experience light or colors. Some congenitally blind individuals report dreaming about concepts of brightness and darkness, even though they have never physically seen them. Some describe light as a warmth or a vibration rather than a visual sensation. Others say they have no concept of light at all, and their dreams are entirely made up of other sensory inputs. This suggests that dreams are highly personal and shaped by individual experiences rather than a universal sensory structure. Emotional dream. Recall why some dreams stay with us. Many blind individuals describe remembering dreams in greater emotional detail than sighted people. This is likely because their dreams are not just about seeing or hearing. They are deeply felt experiences tied to memory, touch, relationships, and personal meaning. Instead of recalling a scene, they might remember the feeling of an interaction, a voice, or the warmth of someone's embrace. Some report waking up with a lingering sense of comfort, sadness, or inspiration based purely on the emotional tone of the dream. This proves that dreams are not just about what we see, they are about what we feel. For For blind individuals, this concept becomes even more profound as their dream world is built entirely on sensation, intuition, and deep emotional connection. What science says about blind dreams. Scientific research on how blind individuals dream has revealed fascinating insights into how the brain processes sensory experiences during sleep. While sighted people dream primarily in visual images, blind individuals rely on sound, touch, smell, taste, movement, and emotional depth to create their dream worlds. Neuroscientists have conducted numerous studies to understand the differences in blind dreaming, brain activity, and sensory compensation. Brain activity during REM sleep in blind individuals. REM, rapid eye movement. Sleep is the stage where most vivid dreaming occurs, and scientists have found that blind individuals experience the same REM sleep cycles as sighted people. However, because they do not rely on vision, their brains process dreams differently, activating non-visual sensory pathways to create a rich and immersive dream world. How the brain functions during REM sleep in blind individuals. REM sleep is a highly active brain state where the mind remains as electrically active as it is during wakefulness. In sighted individuals, the visual cortex plays a dominant role in dream construction, processing stored images and visual memories. In blind individuals, the visual cortex remains active, but it is repurposed to process auditory, tactile, and spatial information instead. Studies using fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging, and EEG, electroencephalography, scans show that blind individuals' auditory and tactile centers become hyperactive during REM sleep. The visual cortex, still active but repurposed. One of the most fascinating discoveries in neuroscience is that the visual cortex of blind individuals does not go inactive. Instead, it becomes engaged in processing other sensory inputs. In sighted people, the occipital lobe, visual cortex, primarily handles images. In blind individuals, this same region becomes highly responsive to touch and sound, supporting the idea that the brain rewires itself through neuroplasticity. This adaptation allows blind individuals to dream vividly, even without vision, creating a sensory-rich experience based on non-visual cues. Increased sensory activity during dreaming. Studies reveal that blind individuals have heightened activity in the auditory cortex during REM sleep. This means their dreams are likely filled with detailed conversations, environmental sounds, and music rather than images. The somatosensory cortex, which processes touch, also becomes more active. This explains why blind individuals often dream of textures, body sensations, and movement instead of visual landscapes. The hippocampus, a region involved in memory and spatial navigation, plays a key role in helping blind individuals map their dream environments. Brainwave patterns. Similarities and differences from sighted individuals. EEG scans show that blind individuals experience the same REM cycles in dream phases as sighted people. However, instead of spikes in visual processing, their REM sleep is marked by increased auditory, tactile, and spatial activity. Some studies suggest that blind individuals might even spend more time in REM sleep, though research is ongoing to confirm this. What this tells us about blind dreaming. The brain does not need vision to construct immersive, meaningful dreams. The visual cortex remains active in blind individuals, but is used for processing sound, touch, and spatial awareness rather than images. Neuroplasticity allows the brain to adapt, proving that dreams are deeply personal experiences shaped by an individual's primary senses. Dreaming in blind individuals is just as vivid, emotional, and complex as it is for sighted people, just in a different sensory language. This research confirms that dreaming is not just about seeing, it's about experiencing, feeling, and interpreting the world through the senses that matter most. Do blind people dream more in sound, touch, and smell? For sighted individuals, dreams are dominated by visual imagery as the brain processes and reconstructs past visual experiences. But for blind individuals, especially those who are blind from birth, dreams rely heavily on sound, touch, smell, taste, and movement rather than sight. Scientific research confirms that these senses become more vivid and immersive in blind dreams, shaping a dream world that is just as detailed but experienced differently. How sound dominates dreams for the blind. Studies show that blind individuals experience significantly more auditory content in their dreams compared to sighted people. Dream conversations. Many blind individuals report that their dreams feel like immersive soundscapes, filled with clear and detailed voices, music, environmental noises, and even whispers. Echolocation in dreams. Some describe an ability to sense the size and shape of a space in dreams through how sounds behave, similar to how some blind individuals use sound reflection to navigate in real life. Heightened sound realism. Unlike sighted individuals, whose dreams often distort or simplify sounds, blind individuals report extremely realistic and specific auditory details, such as hearing the tone and accent of a voice exactly as it is in real life. The role of touch in blind dreams. Feeling textures, pressure, and physical interactions. In the absence of sight, blind individuals often rely on tactile sensations in dreams. Instead of seeing a person, they may recognize someone by shaking their hand, touching their face, or feeling the fabric of their clothing. Environmental touch perception. Some blind individuals report walking through dream spaces and feeling the ground change beneath their feet. Grass, wood, carpet, stone. Temperature and pain in dreams. Unlike sighted people, who rarely feel pain in dreams, blind individuals sometimes report physical sensations like heat, cold, wind, or even physical discomfort, proving that their dreams are rich in sensory depth. Why smell and taste are stronger in blind dreams. Since the olfactory, smell, and gustatory, taste, senses play a larger role in the daily experiences of blind individuals, they also appear more frequently in dreams. Smell-triggered memory dreams. Scents are closely tied to memory, and blind individuals often dream of familiar places or emotions based on smells rather than sights, recognizing a friend by their perfume or identifying a bakery by the smell of bread. Dreams of food and taste. Some blind dreamers report highly detailed taste experiences, such as the sweetness of fruit, the bitterness of coffee, or the texture of a specific meal. Scientific studies on sensory differences in blind dreams. A 2014 study compared the dreams of blind and sighted individuals and found that blind participants had more auditory dream content, voices, sounds, music, more tactile sensations, touching, movement, textures, more smell and taste elements than sighted individuals. The study also found that blind individuals rarely report visual dreams unless they lost sight later in life. Even then, visual dreams fade over time and are replaced by non-visual sensory experiences. EEG and fMRI scans confirm that during REM sleep, the brain's visual cortex becomes active in blind individuals, but it processes non-visual sensory information instead, proving that dreams are not dependent on sight. Do blind people's dreams feel more real? Some researchers suggest that blind individuals may have more immersive and emotionally intense dreams, since their dreams are built from real-world sensory experiences rather than imagined visuals. Sighted individuals often experience dream distortions, such as faces changing or places looking unfamiliar, whereas blind individuals' dream sensations, voices, textures, and scents remain accurate and detailed. This suggests that dream realism isn't just about sight, it's about the richness of sensory input and emotional depth. Conclusion: how the blind experience dreams. Blind individuals do not lack dream experiences. They simply dream in a different sensory language. Instead of images, their dreams are rich in sound, touch, movement, smell, and taste, creating immersive and meaningful dreamscapes. These findings challenge the traditional idea that dreams are purely visual, proving that the brain constructs dream worlds based on personal experiences, no matter which senses dominate waking life. Scientific studies on blind dreams and memory processing. Scientists have long been fascinated by how blind individuals experience dreams, particularly how their brains process memories during sleep. Since sighted individuals primarily recall visual memories in dreams, researchers have explored how blind individuals compensate by relying on other senses. Studies show that blind individuals not only dream vividly, but also use sleep to strengthen memory, improve spatial awareness, and enhance emotional processing. How sleep and dreaming help process memories. Sleep plays a crucial role in memory consolidation, where the brain strengthens and organizes information learned throughout the day. In sighted individuals, this process often involves visual replay of recent events. But for blind individuals, it relies on sound, touch, movement, and emotions instead. Dreams act as a way for the brain to reinforce learning, helping individuals recall and integrate past experiences into long-term memory. Key scientific findings on blind dreaming and memory. Blind individuals experience more sensory-based dream recall. A Danish study on blind individuals' dreams found that their dream recall is just as high as that of sighted individuals, but their memories and dreams are based on auditory, tactile, and spatial sensations rather than visual scenes. Many blind participants describe dreaming of conversations, navigating spaces through sound, or recalling specific textures and environmental cues. This suggests that blind individuals' brains process waking experiences and store memories just as effectively as sighted individuals, but through different sensory pathways. Spatial memory and navigation in blind dreams. Another study from the University of Copenhagen examined how blind individuals dream about movement in space. Researchers found that blind individuals often dream about walking through environments, touching objects, or hearing echoes to determine distance and space, a function crucial to their navigation in waking life. This reinforces the idea that dreams help blind individuals strengthen spatial awareness and memory, allowing them to recall locations, distances, and spatial relationships in greater detail. Emotional and social memory processing. A sleep medicine study revealed that blind individuals' dreams contain more social and emotional content than those of sighted individuals. Since they rely heavily on tone, conversation, and interaction to understand the world, their dreams often reflect interpersonal experiences and emotional processing. The study found that blind individuals often dream about conversations and voices of loved ones, strong emotional encounters such as comfort, loss, or happiness, memories of events linked to sound, touch, or smell rather than imagery. Do blind individuals dream more about real memories? Research suggests that blind individuals' dreams are closely tied to real-life experiences, whereas sighted individuals often experience surreal or unrealistic dream content. Because their memories are stored through sensory engagement, their dream worlds often contain realistic sounds, physical sensations, and accurate details from past events. This supports the idea that blind individuals' dreams function as a tool for memory reinforcement, allowing them to refine their understanding of past experiences. Why this matters? The connection between dreams and learning studies indicate that blind individuals use sleep as a tool for processing information, just like sighted individuals. Their dreams help them practice spatial navigation, reinforce social interactions, and process emotional experiences in a way that compensates for the absence of visual memory. These findings highlight how the brain can adapt to different sensory inputs, proving that memory processing in dreams is not dependent on sight, but rather on the richness of personal experience. The research on blind dreaming challenges the idea that dreams are only about vision. Instead, the brain constructs dream experiences using the senses that are most relevant to the individual. Studies confirm that blind individuals not only dream just as often as sighted people, but also use dreaming to strengthen memory, improve spatial awareness, and enhance emotional connections, proving that the mind is capable of constructing meaningful realities even without sight. Do blind people experience more nightmares? Nightmares are an essential part of dreaming, often reflecting our fears, anxieties, and subconscious thoughts. However, research suggests that blind individuals experience nightmares more frequently than sighted individuals. These nightmares tend to be more intense, emotionally charged, and often centered around real-life challenges rather than purely surreal or fictional scenarios. But why do blind individuals have more nightmares? And what themes commonly appear in their dreams? Let's explore the scientific findings and personal accounts that shed light on this phenomenon. Scientific evidence. Do blind individuals have more nightmares? A 2014 study published in Sleep Medicine compared the dreams of blind and sighted participants and found that blind individuals experience nightmares significantly more often than those with full vision. The study found that while sighted individuals reported nightmares in about 6% of their dreams, blind participants reported nightmares in nearly 25% of their dreams, almost 4 times as frequently. This suggests that the absence of vision leads the brain to rely more on other senses to process fears and anxieties, which may contribute to more emotionally intense dream content. Why do blind people experience more nightmares? Several psychological and neurological factors contribute to the higher frequency of nightmares in blind individuals. Heightened dependence on non-visual senses. Blind individuals rely heavily on sound, touch, and spatial awareness to navigate the world. Any disruptions in these senses, such as being lost, disoriented, or unable to hear familiar surroundings, can trigger fear responses in waking life and consequently in dreams. Since dreams process real-life fears, nightmares may reflect the challenges of navigating the world without sight, leading to dreams of getting lost, being trapped, or feeling helpless. Increased emotional processing research suggests that blind individuals process emotions differently as their brains compensate for the lack of visual input by heightening emotional sensitivity. This may lead to more emotionally intense dreams, including nightmares that are deeply tied to personal fears, anxieties, or past experiences. Real-world challenges reflected in dreams. Since blind individuals face unique daily challenges, such as mobility issues, social misunderstandings, and dependency on external aids, these stressors often appear in their dreams. Studies suggest that nightmares may serve as a coping mechanism, helping the brain rehearse difficult situations in a safe, dreamlike setting. Common themes in blind individuals' nightmares. Unlike sighted people, who often report visually terrifying dreams, seeing a monster or falling from a great height, blind individuals' nightmares focus more on sensory experiences and real-world fears. Here are some of the most commonly reported nightmare themes. Getting lost or disoriented. Many blind individuals dream of being in an unfamiliar environment with no way to navigate safely. Some report feeling like they can't recognize their surroundings, can't hear familiar sounds, or lose their sense of direction entirely. These nightmares may be tied to real-life anxieties about independence and mobility. Losing their ability to hear or feel. Since hearing and touch are crucial for blind individuals, dreams of losing these senses can be especially terrifying. Some describe nightmares where they suddenly become deaf or lose the ability to feel the ground beneath them, leading to extreme panic. This reflects how losing additional senses would pose a major real-life challenge. Being abandoned or left without help. Another common theme is being left alone in an unknown place with no guidance. Some nightmares involve losing contact with a guide dog, cane, or support person, leading to overwhelming distress. These fears may stem from dependence on assistance in certain situations and the subconscious worry of being unable to navigate alone. Threatening or unidentifiable sounds. Since blind individuals rely heavily on sound, many nightmares center around disturbing or threatening noises. Some report dreams where they hear an unknown person approaching, whispers they cannot understand, or distant screams. Others describe nightmares where all sound suddenly disappears, leaving them in terrifying silence. Physical danger or feeling trapped. Many nightmares involve falling, being chased, or being trapped in an unfamiliar space. Unlike sighted individuals, who often see physical threats in nightmares, blind individuals feel the threat through touch, movement, or sound. Some describe nightmares where they are held down, stuck in tight spaces, or unable to move, experiencing a strong sense of helplessness. Can nightmares be beneficial for blind individuals? Although nightmares are distressing, some researchers believe they serve a crucial psychological function, particularly for blind individuals. Nightmares act as a form of mental rehearsal, helping blind individuals prepare for real-life challenges. Exposure therapy through dreams. By repeatedly dreaming about stressful situations, the brain may train itself to respond better in real life. Emotional regulation. Processing fear and anxiety in dreams may help reduce stress and develop coping mechanisms in waking life. One study even found that blind individuals who had frequent nightmares were often more confident and skilled at handling real-world obstacles, suggesting that nightmares may contribute to emotional resilience. How blind individuals can reduce nightmares. If nightmares become too frequent or distressing, blind individuals can practice lucid dreaming techniques or relaxation methods to regain control over their dreams. Some strategies include lucid dreaming training, learning to recognize when they are dreaming and consciously change the nightmare's outcome. Pre-sleep relaxation, using meditation, soothing sounds, or breathing exercises to enter sleep with a calmer mindset. Dream journaling. Keeping track of nightmares can help identify recurring patterns and triggers, making them easier to address. Therapeutic approaches. Discussing nightmares with a sleep specialist or therapist to understand their underlying causes and reduce stress-related triggers. Scientific studies confirm that blind individuals experience more nightmares than sighted people. But these nightmares are not random. They are deeply tied to sensory experiences, real-world fears, and emotional processing. While distressing, nightmares may serve as a way for the brain to prepare for real-life challenges, improve spatial awareness, and strengthen emotional resilience. Ultimately, the presence of nightmares in blind individuals proves that dreaming is not just about seeing, it's about feeling, sensing, and responding to the world in the most personal way possible. How early blindness affects dream content. The age at which a person becomes blind significantly influences how they dream. People who are born blind, congenitally blind, experience dreams very differently from those who lose their sight later in life, acquired blindness. Scientific studies have shown that the earlier blindness occurs, the more the brain adapts to non-visual sensory processing in dreams. Let's explore how early blindness shapes dream content and what it reveals about how the brain constructs the dream world. Differences between congenitally blind and late blind individuals. Congenitally blind, born blind. Never having seen, they do not experience visual imagery in dreams. Dreams are rich in sound, touch, smell, taste, and movement instead. Their brains repurpose the visual cortex to process other sensory input, making dreams highly detailed in non-visual ways. Late blind became blind. Later in life, those who lost sight after the age of 5 to 7 years old often continue to experience visual dreams for years or even decades. Over time, the frequency of visual dreams decreases as the brain adjusts to relying more on sound and touch. The later in life blindness occurs, the longer visual dreams persist, though eventually they fade. This distinction suggests that dream content is shaped by stored sensory memories, with the brain relying on whichever senses are most dominant in a person's life. Sensory content in dreams of people born blind. Since congenitally blind individuals have never seen before, their dreams are structured using alternative sensory experiences, including sound as the primary dream experience. Conversations, environmental noises, and music play a dominant role. Voices are often crystal clear, and blind individuals recognize people in dreams by their sound rather than sight. Many blind individuals dream of hearing spaces, where echoes help them determine distance and layout. Touch and movement instead of vision. Instead of seeing a person, blind dreamers feel facial features, handshakes, or clothing textures to identify them. Walking, running, or even floating is often experienced through body awareness rather than visual perception. Some dreams involve detailed temperature sensations, pressure, or different textures underfoot. Smell and taste. More prominent. Since smell is a key part of recognizing places and people in waking life, it appears more frequently in dreams. Many blind dreamers describe recognizing locations by the scent of flowers, food, or even the air rather than by sight. Taste experiences in dreams are often linked to real-world memories. The flavor of a favorite childhood meal. This proves that dreams do not require vision to feel vivid and meaningful. The brain simply builds the dream world using the senses that are most dominant in daily life. How dream content evolves in late-onset blindness. Those who lose their sight in adulthood continue to dream visually for many years. Over time, visual elements fade, and non-visual sensory details become more dominant in dreams. Some individuals still experience partial visual dreams decades later, often reporting abstract imagery, light flashes, shadows, geometric shapes, hallucination-like experiences rather than fully formed images. This suggests that while the brain stores and replays visual memories, it gradually shifts to prioritizing other senses when sight is no longer used in waking life. The role of neuroplasticity in dream adaptation. Neuroplasticity allows the brain to rewire itself, adapting to blindness by strengthening non-visual sensory pathways. fMRI studies show that in early blind individuals, the visual cortex is still active, but it processes touch, sound, and spatial awareness instead of vision. This means that blind individuals' dreams are not lacking. They are just structured differently, relying on highly detailed non-visual sensory input. Emotional and conceptual dreaming in early blindness. Many early blind individuals report dreaming in abstract ways, experiencing emotions, ideas, or atmospheric sensations rather than structured visual scenes. Some describe dreams that feel like pure emotions, where they sense happiness, fear, or excitement without a defined physical setting. This suggests that the brain's dream function is not dependent on vision. It is about processing emotions, memories, and sensory experiences in the most accessible way possible. How early blindness shapes dreams. Blind individuals do not dream less vividly. They dream just as often, but in a different sensory language. Dreams reflect the dominant senses used in daily life. Sound, touch, movement, smell, and emotions take center stage in the dreams of the blind. The brain adapts to blindness by strengthening non-visual sensory pathways, proving that dreaming is not just about seeing, it's about experiencing and feeling the world in a deeply personal way. This research challenges the idea that dreams must be visual and confirms that dreaming is a universal, sensory-rich experience, no matter how a person perceives the world. What this tells us about the nature of dreams. The study of blind individuals' dreams reveals a profound truth about the nature of dreaming. It is not solely dependent on vision, but rather on the brain's ability to construct immersive sensory experiences based on an individual's dominant perceptions. Dreams are not just about what we see, they are about how we experience the world. Key takeaways from blind dream research. Dreams are multisensory experiences. While sighted individuals dream primarily in images, blind individuals dream in sound, touch, movement, smell, and taste. This proves that dreams are shaped by individual perception rather than requiring vision. The brain adapts to different sensory inputs. Neuroplasticity allows the visual cortex to process sound and touch, meaning dreams remain rich and vivid even without sight. This challenges the idea that dreaming is only a visual replay of daily life. It is a dynamic reconstruction of experiences. Dreams reflect real-world challenges and emotions. Blind individuals' dreams often include navigation, communication, and emotional processing, showing that dreams help us make sense of daily experiences. The high frequency of nightmares suggests that dreams may also serve as a coping mechanism for real-life anxieties. Dreaming is a universal human experience. Regardless of sight, the human brain creates a meaningful dream world, proving that dreaming is an essential part of consciousness, memory, and emotion processing. This suggests that the core function of dreaming is not just visualization, but deep cognitive and emotional integration. Dreams are not about what we see, but about what we feel, hear, and experience. The brain constructs dream worlds based on the richest sources of information available, proving that dreams are personalized, deeply meaningful, and fundamental to human cognition, regardless of sensory ability. What this tells us about the brain. The way blind individuals experience dreams provides fascinating insights into how the brain works. By analyzing how the brain adapts to blindness in dreams, we can better understand neuroplasticity, sensory processing, memory consolidation, and the deeper functions of dreaming. The brain is highly adaptive, neuroplasticity in action. One of the most remarkable discoveries in neuroscience is the brain's ability to adapt and reorganize itself, a process known as neuroplasticity. This ability is especially evident in blind individuals whose brains compensate for the lack of vision by enhancing other senses. The way blind individuals dream provides powerful evidence of how neuroplasticity allows the brain to function beyond traditional sensory limitations. How the brain rewires itself in blind individuals. When a person is born blind or loses their sight early in life, the visual cortex does not shut down. Instead, it becomes repurposed to process touch, sound, and spatial awareness. Neuroimaging studies using fMRI and EEG scans show that in blind individuals, the occipital lobe, which normally processes vision, is highly active during tasks that involve listening, reading Braille, and identifying objects through touch. This means that even in dreams, the brain is actively creating experiences using non-visual sensory inputs. How neuroplasticity affects dreaming. Since blind individuals rely more on sound, touch, and spatial awareness in waking life, these senses become dominant in their dreams as well. Instead of visualizing a room, they may hear echoes to gauge space, feel the ground under their feet, or rely on temperature changes to interpret their surroundings. Lucid dreaming is more common among blind individuals, as their heightened sensory awareness may make them more attuned to the fact that they are dreaming. Scientific studies on neuroplasticity in blind dreams. A Harvard Medical School study found that the brains of blind individuals exhibit higher connectivity between the visual cortex and other sensory regions, proving that the brain reallocates its resources to maximize efficiency. Research on blind musicians found that those who regularly engage in music have dreams that are intensely auditory, further confirming that neuroplasticity shapes dream content. Experiments with Braille readers showed that the visual cortex is highly active when blind individuals read Braille, suggesting that in dreams, this area may process tactile information rather than images. What this means for the human brain. Neuroplasticity challenges the idea that certain parts of the brain are permanently assigned to specific functions. Instead, the brain adjusts based on necessity. The fact that blind individuals dream as vividly as sighted people proves that dreaming is not about seeing. It's about experiencing the world in the most relevant way possible. This research also suggests that if one sense is lost, the brain can strengthen other senses to ensure a rich and detailed perception of reality, even in dreams. The study of blind individuals' dreams provides compelling proof that the brain is one of the most adaptable and flexible organs in the body. Whether awake or dreaming, the brain maximizes the use of available sensory inputs, proving that human perception is not just about sight, but about how we interpret and interact with the world around us. Dreams are not just visual, they are multi-sensory reconstructions. For a long time, dreams were thought to be primarily visual experiences, as most sighted individuals recall images, colors, and scenes when they wake up. However, the dreams of blind individuals prove that dreaming is not limited to sight. It is a full-body, multi-sensory experience. This suggests that the brain constructs dreams using whatever sensory inputs are most dominant in an individual's waking life. How the brain creates multi-sensory dreams. Dreams are not simply replays of real-life events. They are reconstructions made by the brain using memories, emotions, and sensory details. Since blind individuals rely on sound, touch, smell, taste, and movement more than sighted people, these senses take over as the primary building blocks of their dreams. This means that the brain does not need vision to create an immersive dream world. It uses the richest available sensory information instead. The role of different senses in blind dreams. Sound is the main dream element. Blind individuals report hearing voices, music, and environmental sounds with extreme clarity in their dreams. They often navigate dream environments using auditory cues rather than sight, much like in waking life. Some even describe a sense of sonar or echolocation, where they can perceive space based on how sounds behave around them. Touch and spatial awareness in dreams. Instead of seeing objects, blind individuals feel textures, pressure, and temperature differences in their dreams. Some report being able to recognize people by shaking their hands or touching their faces in a dream. Their brains create a 3D sense of space through movement and touch, allowing them to walk through dream environments just as they would in real life. Smell and taste in dreams. While rare for sighted individuals, blind individuals frequently report recognizing places or memories through sense, such as a specific perfume, freshly baked bread, or the scent of rain. Food-related dreams often include realistic taste sensations, reinforcing the idea that the brain can simulate all 5 senses during sleep. Emotions and atmosphere as a key factor. Dreams often feel vivid and real not just because of sensory input, but because of emotional intensity. Many blind individuals describe dreams where they feel emotions deeply, such as a sense of peace, fear, or excitement, without needing any visual representation. Scientific studies supporting multisensory dreaming. A 2014 study on blind individuals' dreams found that they reported higher levels of auditory, tactile, and olfactory dream content compared to sighted individuals. EEG scans show that during REM sleep, the brains of blind individuals process sound and touch in the same way that sighted individuals process visual images, proving that the dream experience is flexible and adaptable. Neuroimaging studies confirm that the visual cortex in blind individuals becomes repurposed for processing other sensory details, reinforcing the idea that dreams are reconstructed based on the most available sensory inputs. What this tells us about the brain and dreaming. Dreams are not just visual, they are built using a combination of senses, emotions, and memories. The brain is capable of replacing vision with other senses, ensuring that dreams remain detailed, immersive, and meaningful, even without sight. This means that dreaming is not just about seeing, it's about experiencing, feeling, and interacting with the dream world in a way that is unique to each individual. Blind individuals' dreams challenge the traditional belief that dreaming is purely a visual experience. Instead, they prove that the brain constructs dreams using whatever sensory inputs are most dominant, making dreams a highly personal and adaptive experience. Whether through sound, touch, smell, or movement, dreams remain just as vivid and meaningful, even without sight. The brain processes memory and emotion through dreams. Dreams are not just random events, they serve a critical function in processing memories and emotions. Studies show that during sleep, the brain organizes experiences, strengthens important memories, and helps regulate emotions. This process is just as important for blind individuals as it is for sighted people, but the way they experience it differs due to their unique sensory reliance. How the brain uses dreams for memory consolidation. During REM sleep, the brain sorts through daily experiences, deciding what to store in long-term memory and what to discard. For sighted individuals, this process often involves replaying visual scenes. For blind individuals, memories are reinforced through sound, touch, and spatial awareness rather than images. Research suggests that blind individuals' dreams often replay real-world experiences in highly accurate detail, especially in terms of sounds and physical sensations. Why dreams are crucial for emotional processing. The amygdala, a brain region responsible for emotions, is highly active during REM sleep. Dreams help individuals process fears, anxieties, and emotional experiences in a safe subconscious environment. Since blind individuals rely on tone, touch, and social interaction to understand emotions, their dreams tend to emphasize conversations, physical sensations, and strong emotional moments rather than visual images. This suggests that dreams play a key role in emotional regulation, even when vision is not involved. Scientific studies on memory and emotion processing in blind dreams. A University of Copenhagen study found that blind individuals frequently dream about real-life events, reinforcing the idea that dreams aid in memory retention. Another study revealed that blind individuals have more intense emotional dreams, likely because their brains rely on deeper emotional and sensory processing rather than visual storytelling. Nightmares are also more common, suggesting that dreams serve as a way to rehearse and emotionally process real-life fears and challenges. How blind individuals' dreams strengthen learning and adaptation. Some researchers believe that blind individuals' dreams help them refine their navigation skills, as they often dream about moving through spaces using sound and touch. Social interactions in dreams may help reinforce verbal and emotional cues, which are crucial for understanding relationships in daily life. This proves that dreams are not just for entertainment. They serve a purpose in enhancing cognitive abilities, strengthening social awareness, and processing emotional experiences. What this tells us about the brain: dreams are not purely visual. They are structured around how we perceive the world, whether through sight, sound, or touch. The brain does not need vision to process memories and emotions. It can use alternative sensory experiences just as effectively. Emotional processing in dreams helps regulate feelings, reduce stress, and improve problem-solving skills, making dreaming a crucial part of human cognition. Blind individuals' dreams confirm that the brain uses dreams as a tool for memory storage and emotional regulation, regardless of sensory input. This means that dreams are not just about replaying the past. They help us learn, adapt, and emotionally process the world around us in deeply personal ways. The brain uses dreams to enhance problem-solving and navigation. Dreams are not just a random collection of thoughts and memories. They also serve as a cognitive playground where the brain refines skills, solves problems, and simulates real-life challenges. For blind individuals, this process is particularly important, as their dreams often revolve around navigation, spatial awareness, and problem-solving strategies that help them in daily life. How dreams help with problem-solving. Dreams allow the brain to rehearse solutions to real-world challenges. Blind individuals often report dreaming about finding their way in unfamiliar environments, recalling past experiences, or improving their ability to interpret auditory and tactile cues. These dreams act as a form of mental training, reinforcing cognitive abilities that are crucial for adapting to daily life. Navigation in dreams. How blind individuals move through dream spaces. Since blind individuals rely on sound, touch, and movement to navigate in real life, these same elements dominate their dream environments. Some common dream experiences include walking through familiar spaces and recalling their layout through memory, feeling the texture of surfaces, walls, or floors to determine location, using sound reflections, like echolocation, to sense the size and shape of a room. This suggests that dreams may play a role in refining the brain's spatial awareness and improving navigation skills. Scientific evidence. Dreams and spatial memory in the blind. A study from the University of Copenhagen found that blind individuals frequently dream about moving through space, suggesting that dreams help reinforce mental maps of their surroundings. Another research project on neuroplasticity found that the visual cortex of blind individuals becomes repurposed for spatial processing, which may explain why dreams often involve detailed navigation experiences. Lucid dreamers who are blind have reported being able to actively test their sense of direction and movement within dreams, reinforcing the idea that dreams can be a form of problem-solving practice. Problem-solving through dream scenarios. Some blind individuals report having dreams where they must solve puzzles, avoid obstacles, or find creative solutions to real-life challenges. Since their dreams often lack visual distractions, their minds focus on auditory, tactile, and logical problem-solving methods. This further supports the theory that dreaming serves as a mental simulation tool, allowing the brain to practice solving real-world problems. What this tells us about the brain. Dreams are not just passive experiences. They help the brain refine skills, process information, and improve adaptability. The ability of blind individuals to navigate in dreams suggests that the brain constructs a functional, multisensory reality even without sight. This proves that dreams are an essential part of human cognition, allowing individuals to develop strategies for real-life challenges in a risk-free environment. Blind individuals' dreams confirm that dreaming is more than just random thoughts and images. It is an active process where the brain works to refine problem-solving skills, improve spatial awareness, and practice navigation. This suggests that dreaming plays a key role in human intelligence, adaptability, and survival, regardless of sensory ability. Dreams are a reflection of the brain's fundamental functioning. Dreaming is not just an entertaining side effect of sleep. It is a core function of the human brain. The study of blind individuals' dreams reveals that dreaming is a deeply ingrained neurological process that goes beyond sight, serving essential roles in memory processing, emotional regulation, problem-solving, and sensory adaptation. How dreams reflect the brain's core processes. Dreams simulate reality using available sensory inputs. Sighted individuals rely on visual imagery. Blind individuals dream in sound, touch, movement, and spatial awareness. This suggests that dreaming is a way for the brain to reconstruct experiences using whatever senses are most dominant. The brain remains highly active during sleep. Neuroimaging studies show that the brain is as active during REM sleep as it is when awake. This proves that dreaming is not just random, but a fundamental part of how the brain organizes and interprets reality. Dreams process emotions and reinforce learning. The brain uses dreams to consolidate memories, practice social interactions, and regulate emotions. Since blind individuals rely on verbal and emotional cues more than sighted individuals, their dreams often emphasize conversations, relationships, and tactile experiences. Why dreaming is essential for cognitive health. Studies have shown that people deprived of REM sleep struggle with memory retention, problem-solving, and emotional balance. The fact that blind individuals dream just as often, despite never having seen, proves that dreaming is essential to brain function, not just a visual experience. Dreams serve as a simulation tool, helping individuals rehearse real-life situations, navigate their environment, and adapt to new challenges. What this tells us about human consciousness. Dreams are a product of how the brain makes sense of the world, meaning they are deeply personal, adaptive, and unique to each individual. The fact that blind individuals experience complex multisensory dreams proves that dreaming is not about sight, it's about perception and cognition. This suggests that dreams are a crucial part of human intelligence, allowing us to process, explore, and adapt to our surroundings, no matter how we experience the world. Dreaming is one of the brain's most fundamental and universal functions, shaping how we process memories, emotions, and problem-solving. The dreams of blind individuals confirm that dreaming is not limited to vision, but is a deeply ingrained neurological function that helps all humans understand, adapt, and interact with their world, whether through sight, sound, touch, or emotion. The way blind people dream is a powerful reminder that perception goes far beyond sight. Dreams are shaped by experience, memory, and emotion, proving that the human brain is far more adaptable than we might think. But now we want to hear from you. If you couldn't see, how do you think your dreams would change? Let us know in the comments. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay curious.